Thanks, Demir. Well, speaking of gifts, Jamie Burnett's going to come and give us an update on how things are going with the church finances.
Am I on? Okay. Well, we promised to try to keep you updated regularly on finances. I know it's the most exciting part of church for you, so we'll try to make it quick. The first thing really that we want to do is just to say thank you. Thank you to God and to each of you, because when we came to you a few months ago, we were a pretty big deficit, and we've really covered about half of that. So we really have made up ground, and we're very grateful. God's always taken care of us, and we're not surprised. So here's where we are, and you can check this in your bulletin. I won't go over the detail too much, but the bottom line there is, based on our budget, we're about $267,000 short, and we're hoping to make this up in the last offerings of the year. We do have some wiggle room because we may not spend our whole budget too. So we're going to use what the Lord gives us, but we're coming to you today saying if we could meet our budget, it really helps us in looking forward to next year. So most of you probably know how to give to Valley Church. You just went through doing this one where you give a check or cash. You can go online and do it. You can give appreciated shares of stock, which is a good stewardship because you don't pay tax on that appreciation. And you can give through IRA distributions. If you have any questions, just contact Matt and the finance director in the church office, and he'll help you with any of that. And again, just to go over the technicalities, which I think you guys all really know, you can designate gifts. So you can give a gift. If you don't put anything on your memo line, it goes into the general fund, which takes care of the local church and all that we do here. If you put missions or global outreach or faith promise, then it goes to our effort in missions, which is to reach the uttermost parts of the world. If you put benevolence, it'll go to a fund to help our church members and sometimes those who are outside the church. If you put property, we'll put it to the capital property use. And then sometimes we have funds, which we don't have one right now, that are special, and you designate that. If you designate something that we don't have, we have to put it in the general fund because you have to give to one we designated. You can't just make up your own fund where you'd like the money to go. The general fund, unlike the other funds, we can take, if we're over in the general fund, we can give to the other funds to help them out. But once you specify that you want it to go to missions or you want to go to benevolence, then our integrity is we have to spend it the way that you designated it. So our need then is that, as I said, that we meet our budget for this year. We would really like you to consider us in your year-end giving. If you're like our family, it's a joy to, at the end of the year, say, now how do I finish off the year well and give to where the Lord would lead me? And we know there's a lot of great things you can give to, and we're just asking that you consider Valley Church. We could use it in the general fund this year, and so prayerfully consider that. When we think of the funds that are the biggest at church, it's the general fund and the global outreach. And we have been blessed to almost receive. We haven't gotten the money yet, but one of our precious families has left a great legacy gift to missions. And it's actually so great that it's more than our budget for missions for the whole year. So missions is ending the year in great shape. And so if you could, when you think about us at year end, would you consider to the general fund that the local church can do its work? And remember, without the local church, we don't have a missions program. And so we do need to think about that. And then finally, the 2020 budget, we depend a lot on where we stand at the end of the year and planning that budget. So if we come up real short, we'll have to cut some things, and we'll do that. But if you guys come through and the Lord gives us what we need, then we can continue carrying forward the programs that we're doing, that we're trying to reach our community with. And so just in closing this, to just give you some encouragement, in this proverb, before the part that I've written, it says in verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. I think the first question that comes to us is, okay, but how? Well, he says, well, in all your ways, acknowledge God. Okay, but how? Well, turn away from evil. Okay, but what do I do? And then right after that, he says, honor the Lord from your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns shall be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with new wine. If the Lord has made us, if he's then redeemed us after we've fallen away from him, if he sustains us and gives us every breath, if every good thing we have comes from him, it's only right that we honor him first from our wealth. It's counterintuitive to those who think you've got to keep everything you can for yourself. But the way that God's designed this world is when you're unselfish, when you put God first, when you take care of the needs of others, that's when your barns are going to be plenty and your vats are going to be bursting with new wine. And he closes that section by saying, blessed is the one who finds wisdom. Remember, church, that God is changing us. We're not going to be like what we started out. We're going to be able to live in a paradise where everything is good. And we're supposed to show that forth now. And one way that we do that is giving of our substance to the Lord's kingdom and to those in need. So finally, Paul, thanking the Corinthians for an offering they did for the poor, that says, now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. We are so fortunate in the New Testament to not think so much of barns being full as having a harvest of righteousness. Remember in Revelations it says, let him who is righteous be righteous still. Christ died to make you righteous. Surely we can give back to him in this world. You will be enriched in every way to be generous in every way, which through us will produce thanksgiving to God. For this ministry of this service is not only supplying the needs of the saints, but it is also overflowing in many thanksgivings to God. And so your giving doesn't just go to meet the needs of the poor. It doesn't just go to support the local church. It doesn't just go to take the good news to every tribe and tongue around the world. It brings glory to God. And so we just ask you to remember us as you close your year. And I'll turn it over to our dear brother Kurt to close.